So on the previous parts of this editing vocal series, I was really showing you what I like to do before I start mixing. So I was using a kind of empty project here in Logic to just demonstrate how I like to fix things before I start mixing. But for this part, I would like to show you the finished mix or sort of semi-finished mix. I've just done this for the purposes of the video, but I've kind of mixed the vocals and got them to a point where I'm sort of almost happy with them to demonstrate the next stage of the kind of cleaning up and editing of the vocals. So the reason I like to do it this way round is I like to fix any issues, get everything time aligned, get all the breaths sorted, all the silence taken out and all that stuff really before I start mixing. So it's sort of a separate stage. And then I start getting creative, starting getting the sound that I like going on the vocals. And then after that, I start recognizing if there's any sort of last little things that I can do to just bring that extra sort of 5 or 10% out of the vocal. So we're going to start with S's and using editing to help bring down harsh S's that are still left in the vocal, even after I've used 2 de-essers here. Got the Waves de-esser running, and I've got the E2 de-esser by Slate, but there's still a couple of S's that poke out just a little bit too much even after the de-essing, and that's why I like to do this after I've mixed the vocals so I can see what the de-essers are dealing with and what maybe I still need to address in editing. So I'll play the verse through, and anything that sticks out to me I'm going to stop and address and explain what I do.
And I've been with my girl for a long time, so when I'm around things I don't flirt. I'm at a cocktail bar on date night, drink look like the Galatasaray shirt. What genres haven't I merged? What genres haven't I murked? Open doors and then feed the man them. What genres haven't I murked? Open.
So for me, I'm using this as an example. This one is not really too bad, but I've got to show you something as an example, so I'm choosing this. So the S on the end of genres for me was poking out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just play that again so maybe you can identify that yourself.
What genres haven't I murked? Open doors.
And also on the end of murked, the T is kind of sticking out a lot.
What genres haven't I murked? Open doors and
the T there on the murked. So what I like to do is just zoom in here, identify where the S is that's causing an issue.
What genres haven't I murked?
So it's this one here. So I'm going to simply create a region that's just that S, and then again I'm going to come over here to my gain and just pull that down. Just pull it down to around there, and then I'm going to drag it on this side and on this side to just create those fades. And then we'll take a listen to that again.
What genres haven't I murked? 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 Oh.
Now for me that's a lot cleaner. I'll quickly do the T on the murked as well. Just bring them down a touch.
What genres haven't I murked? Open. What genres haven't I murked? Open doors and then feed.
So I'll play that for you from here, and then we'll show you how it sounded before.
What genres haven't I merged? What genres haven't I murked? Open doors and then feed the man them. What genres haven't I murked? Open.
So before, it was more like this.
Merged. What genres haven't I murked? Open. What genres haven't I murked? Open.
And then after.
What genres haven't I murked? Open door.
Just a lot smoother. Now again, that wasn't the worst example. There's way worse S's that can stick out sometimes, even after de-essing. But that's just an example of how to tame an S when it's just sticking out too much. Another thing that I like to address at this stage is if there's any kind of transient issues. So for example, plosives, you know, a strong P happening, or T, or even a C, like a k sound. If there's too much of that happening at this stage after compression and de-essing and EQ and everything else, then I like to address that with fades, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Let me just try and find a part that I'm not happy with, and we'll go from there.
What genres haven't I murked? Man know me cam dog the waviest thing, the name. Man know me cam dog the waviest thing. Man know me cam dog the waviest.
So for me, the K on the cam dog, the word cam dog there, is sticking out a little bit too much. And I can see already that it's this area here.
Man know me cam dog the wavy. Man know me cam dog the wavy.
And even the D on the dog.
Man know me cam dog the waviest.
And even maybe the D on the waviest as well. So zoom in, make a chop, apply a fade out as well on this region before. Let me show you the difference this makes.
Man know me Cam Dog the waviest thing, the name on the back of my shirt. Man know me Cam Dog the waviest thing, the name on. Man know me Cam Dog the waviest thing.
A lot cleaner. I'm going to do the other parts that I said as well. They don't need as much, but just these two little bits here just to show you what's possible and how we get this line sounding much cleaner.
Have a name murked. Man know me Cam Dog the waviest thing. Man know me Cam Dog the waviest thing. Man know me Cam Dog the. Man know me Cam Dog the waviest thing.
You take those off. Show you without.
Man know me Cam Dog the waviest. Man know me Cam Dog the waviest thing.
And then after the edits.
Man know me Cam Dog the waviest thing. Man know me Cam Dog the waviest.
To me, that's a whole lot cleaner. Now, I want to stress that this is a little bit extreme and there was no big issue really with those parts. I may have even left it. And if you want a sound which is more rugged and less clean, then by all means don't do this, you know, leave these in. Sometimes people like that sort of strong transient sound at the start of words. For me, I always like to just try it and see which one I prefer. You know, in some cases, once you put the beat in, it sounds better and cleaner and you can hear the word, the pronunciation of the word more without these fades and without these kind of edits. But I just wanted to show that, you know, if you do get any strong sort of starting of words like this, where it's a little bit clicky or a little bit poppy, it's quite an easy way of solving that in editing. I'm going to try and identify one or two more just to make the point.
And I've been with my girl for a long time, so when I'm around. And I've been with my girl for a long time. And I've been with my girl for a long time.
So the start of the word girl here, you can even see how strong that is. I'm just going to add a little fade there again. Also adding a small fade to the end of the previous region so we don't get any pops.
And I've been with my girl for a long time. And I've been with my girl for a long time. And I've been with my girl for a long time.
So without it.
And I've been with my girl for a long time.
And with it.
And I've been with my girl for a long time.
Subtle difference, but I think it's worth doing, worth experimenting with.
And I've been with my girl for a long time, so when I...
Even the T there on the start of time, you could argue is a little strong.
My girl for a long time, so when I round things I don't flirt. My girl for a long time, so when I round things I don't flirt. I'm at a...
Just some examples there. Another quick example here.
For it, connect the dots. For it, connect the dots and...
The K on the connect is a little bit strong there.
I'm over it, connect the dots and get the dough. I'm over it, connect the dots and get...
You see how it just smooths out that area nicely.
I'm over it, connect the dots and get the... I'm over it, connect the dots and get...
Yeah, for me it's an improvement.
I don't care if it don't make sense. Stick it all on red. I don't care if it don't make sense.
See on this line here?
I don't care if it don't make sense. I don't care if it don't make sense.
There's a big sort of spike here on the word care that I can tell is kind of messing with the compression a little bit. So I'm just going to fade that.
I don't care if it don't make sense. I don't care if it don't make sense. I'm red. I don't care if it don't make sense. All I'm red. I don't care if it don't make sense. All I'm red. I don't care if it don't make sense.
For me, that's a lot cleaner after I've applied that fade. And sometimes this can happen due to just the performance of the artist, but also if you're using like a low-end mic or anything like that. I don't think this song was recorded on a low-end mic, but some of the cheaper mics deal with these kind of issues worse than higher end gear. So if you know, this is a way for me, if I get a vocal that's recorded less than ideally, maybe a lower end mic or a bad room, or there's slight areas where the performance went downhill a little bit, this is a way of getting a nicer performance out of a lower end recording, for want of a better phrase. So yeah, definitely something that you can use in your songs to just get your vocal sounding cleaner and more professional and polished.